Well, good morning, YouTube. We have quite the update on the CNC story.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan, this is my garage, and this channel is all about the supercar ownership experience, but I know a lot of you have been watching my channel and subscribing because of the CNC drama. So for all you drama whores out there, I have quite the update for you, so you may now rejoice.
And there was much rejoicing.
Although, for those of the people who are still victims of the situation, I don't know if this is necessarily going to be helpful or not. Maybe they're going to feel good about it, maybe they're not. Before we get into that, just real quick, the way I support this channel is through selling parts and services for supercars. So if you happen to have a supercar or are wanting to buy a supercar and you need any sort of services or parts from me, please go visit normalguysupercar.com. Use the code NGS10, it'll take off 10%. Basically everything I have in the store. And if there's something you don't see on the website and you want to get a custom quote, just email me, Dan@normalguysupercar.com, and I can get you some information and we'll work out a good deal. But, okay, so CNC stuff. Yes, we have CNC stuff to talk about. First thing is, real quick, it turns out that the DMV did pull the dealership license pretty early on in this story. So it looks like, based on the data, that Lotus of Upland lost their license somewhere in the April area, and CNC Motors actually lost it in May. That obviously took a while to propagate to their website. I don't know why it took so long. Probably would have made a lot of people less pissed off at the DMV, but I mean, it's a big bureaucracy, so who knows? I mean, it could have been filed and that just takes time and whatever. And if you didn't know, yes, there's actually two companies. It's Lotus of Upland and CNC Motors. And actually, I think it was called CNC Exotics, maybe DBA CNC Motors. But anyway, so it gets kind of complicated because there's a lot of companies involved, and from what we understand, that there's quite a few LLCs involved in this whole thing. Okay, but here's the huge news. Yesterday morning, I'm not exactly sure what time, the police were at CNC Motors and at Clay Tom's actual residence. I guess they did like a raid. I don't know what the right term for it is, a search warrant execution, something like that. But they were seen for quite a long period of time removing property from those places. So I would assume documents and records and who knows what else. I also heard that there was cars that were towed off the property at CNC Motors. Not sure about that. I have to go off of what people have been telling me because obviously I'm not physically there, but I had numerous people reach out to me and tell me that the police were there. In fact, I have quite a few pictures of the police there. So we know the police were there. I don't know what police agency it was. I guess I would go under the assumption that it was probably executed by the DMV. So maybe they got local police involved. There was speculation about it being the FBI. I don't have any pictures of people wearing jackets that say FBI, but I don't know if the FBI actually does that because this isn't the movies, this is real life. So who knows if it was the FBI, who knows if it was the DMV. There's definitely police insignia on people's clothing, but I would assume any sort of thing like that is going to involve local police to be involved, so who knows. But anyway, that's really the big news. What we don't know is, we don't know if Mr. Tom was arrested or not. We don't know. We can probably make some pretty strong assumptions that this is no longer a civil thing. This is clearly a criminal thing. So that is interesting. And what we really don't know is how this is going to affect the people who are still owed cars or titles or money. So that's the unfortunate thing, is I don't know that this necessarily changes their situation, certainly not in the immediate. But on that note, on the note of some of these victims, I have had a few reach out to me, and there has been a few small positive stories within this horrible tragedy. A few of the people have actually recovered titles. So that's awesome. The people that were owed a title have their title and they are set. That is fantastic news. Also, that California fund, the $35,000 limit fund, I don't know the name of the actual thing, but it's basically like the California motor recovery thing or something like that. Anyway, a lot of people have filed with that and received money from it. So there's multiple people that have received up to $35,000 to make sure that they are whole. I know that some people were owed less than $35,000, so they are actually all set in those cases. Some people obviously have cars or situations that were worth way more than $35,000. Those people are obviously still owed money. And we also have confirmation that there are a lot of pending lawsuits. The last that we've heard is close to 20. I'm not surprised by that. I don't know the details of these lawsuits. Like, I haven't had the time to sit there and go read every single one of these filings, because a lot of that is all public data or public information when they do these court filings. Frankly, it's going to just be sad to read it. Every single one of them is going to probably read the same and just be, you know, just terrible to read about. So the good news, like I said, a few people have been made whole. A few people have gotten partially recovered, so that's good. And of course, this is kind of a progression that we all were kind of expecting. And I know a lot of people are going to be mad and say, well, why didn't this happen sooner, and all that sort of stuff. So the tricky thing is, when you really look at what the law enforcement has to do in order to build a solid case, you don't want them to rush it, right? Like, you don't want them to do things too early and then have it get thrown out in court, because then all of it was wasted. So you want to make sure that they do their jobs well, that they execute well, and that they get the right information. So it seems like hopefully this was enough time that they did a good job on that. I just would like to take a moment to say thank you to all of the law enforcement individuals who have been working on this, because I'm sure, just based on how much data I got and how overwhelmed I was, and I have effectively nothing to do with this, their jobs must have been a nightmare for the last few months. I mean, I do not envy any of those people. That looks like it was just horrible to deal with. The amount of work that they probably were just piled on top of them has to be ridiculous. This goes way bigger than I think any of us realize. I guess now we're gonna have to watch to see if there are updates. Ultimately, what we really want is for these people to be made whole. Unfortunately, now that it's kind of gotten to this point where, you know, stuff's being confiscated and criminal investigations are clearly ramped up and things are being executed upon, it's not looking good. I mean, that's the sad thing. If you're currently in this situation, it's not looking good. So anyway, there you go. That's the current update. Kind of crazy. I'm sure there's gonna be all sorts of videos and stuff of people driving by and taking pictures. Yeah, I wish we could say that we had great news, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know that this is necessarily like great news. Anytime there's a situation that gets criminal, that just because the wheels of justice are finally turning in the right direction, that necessarily means that it's a good thing. It just means that it's a less bad thing, I guess is a way to say it. So yeah. So I know I haven't really been talking much about CNC lately, and that's because, well, I don't want that to be the basis of my channel, but I do appreciate all of you for watching my channel and subscribing. I really honestly do hope that you take the time to watch some of my other videos, especially if you're a car enthusiast, because you'll find that you might actually enjoy my videos. They're normally not very much drama. It's normally actually just kind of about the supercar ownership experience, like I said at the beginning. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, please do so. And if you want to help me out, again, go visit normalguysupercar.com. I do appreciate it tremendously when you guys do that, because like I said, that is literally my job. That's how I pay my bills. So thank you so much to all of you again for watching. We will be having a lot more car stuff coming your way, so you're going to want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.